Good morning, and it is the first time in 2 years that Israelis are greeting each other with good morning without a hint of irony. Because do you know what the hostages have in common with football? They're coming home. Israelis have been racked with worry for the last 2 years. 2 years since the hostages were ripped from their beds, abducted from a music festival, taken away from their families, held in tunnels under Gaza, tortured, starved, abused, and after 2 years, that nightmare is about to come to an end. So there is immense relief in Israel now that we have reached an agreement, a ransom, in order to get the hostages out, and hope that there will be phase 2 to end the war for good in a way that ensures that the Gaza Strip is demilitarized and de-radicalized so that this is the last Gaza war.
How does this deal change the psyche of the Hamas terrorists, the Hamas leadership, which wants to destroy the state of Israel?
Hamas has lost this war. The terms of this agreement are Hamas accepting its surrender, accepting that in stage 2, it will have to give up its weapons and it will have to give up power. But you're right. The Hamas terrorist army has not given up its goal of destroying the state of Israel. Hamas is a genuinely genocidal enemy that wants to destroy this country and kill all of us. And Hamas is thinking about the long game. Hamas wants, in the end, to take over the Palestinian Authority, to become the legitimate government of the Palestinians. And it's already receiving a boost in the polls from Britain's recognition of a Palestinian state. It will be boosted in the polls because of the convicted terrorists Israel is going to be forced to release from prison. And it's enjoying popularity, frankly, because it's trashed Israel's global reputation and brought massive protests onto the streets of London. So that is what all world leaders have to be vigilant about. Even if this war ends, Hamas's goal of the destruction of the state of Israel won't have gone away. It's going to shift phases, and we're going to have to be absolutely vigilant so it cannot rear its ugly head.
Now, clearly, the first aim of this peace plan is to get the hostages back, which has been one of the primary reasons for the war in the first place. But you referred there to the second phase, the de-radicalized terror-free zone that Gaza is about to become, or hoped to become. But it's very difficult to see how that will take place without any kind of Israeli oversight over the security situation there. Even if Hamas is de-armed, surely other groups will spring up in its place. Do you think it's actually possible that in a year, 2 years' time, Gaza will be some sort of independent strip, or will the Israeli forces still be on the ground there?
The only way that we can get peace between Israel and Gaza is if Gaza is de-radicalized. Not just Hamas destroyed, not just Gaza demilitarized, if the population is de-radicalized. We know from hostages who came out of captivity, they say when they were dragged in on October 7th, civilians around them tried to lynch them, and the Hamas terrorists had to protect them because that's how people were celebrating and trying to lynch them on the street. The jihadi ideology that meant that Hamas became more popular after October 7th, that ideology that glorifies violence until Israel is destroyed, that has to be eliminated. That's why point 1 of President Trump's plan is de-radicalization. But you know, for that to happen, the international community needs to understand the destructive role it's been playing by funding UNRWA, for example, the UN agency that runs most of the education in Gaza, whose staff, whose graduates, whose teachers took part in the October 7th massacre, who teach children to glorify terrorism and oppose Israel. If we want real de-radicalization, it has to come through educating the population of Gaza that, you know what, Gaza is their home. They're not going to replace Israel. They're not going to destroy it. If they want peaceful lives, they need to rebuild peaceful lives in Gaza next to Israel. That's the only way peace is really going to happen, through de-radicalization, just like Germany had denazification after the Second World War.
Well, Eylon Levy, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.